Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com, and we're delighted you're here. We broadcast 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains, and there's a link to all of your instructors on the website, USAPREPARES.com. Podcasts are free. John is engineering in the broadcast at Genesis Communications Network in Minnesota. And for those of you who are new to our broadcast classroom, there are about 250 of us here at USAPrepares.com, experts in various areas. We are innovators, dentists, medical doctors, engineers, surgeons, CEOs, broadcasters, editors, researchers, physicists, farmers, inventors, and none of us is capable of holding down a job. I'm delighted to introduce to you your newest instructor, and he starts out with the title of senior instructor, of which there are very few here at USAPrepares.com. He's broadcasted nationally. You've heard him on many of the largest broadcasts in the world. His name is Cliff High. He is the inventor, the developer, the originator of the WebBot project. His website, halfpasthuman.com. And his current project we are discussing is called Asymmetric Linguistic Trends Analysis. Welcome, Cliff High.
Very much. Glad to be here.
I'm delighted you're with us this morning. Cliff, your report, your analysis, I've got it in my hands. It's well over 30 pages, and it discusses various things that the web is telling you through your proprietary algorithms and technology. Can you just take a minute or two and tell us what this technology is, what the probability of the forecast being correct are, and then let's go right into what you see happening.
Sure, no problem. I started this in 93. I had my software up and running in 1997. I did my first run then. I started perfecting it over time. It works on the theory that all humans are psychic, and 99% of us are not aware of it when it's occurring, but something from universe prompts us. And so we express that. We've got to get it out so we can go about our business. And I think that it shows up in our language choices. I can go into detail then if it's pertinent, but you just step outside your usual lexicon and use words that you don't normally do, and it's universe prompting you, and it has some prescience to it. And so my software goes out and gathers all of these prescient little bits off of all of the discussions we are all having on the Internet and aggregates them into a large trend forecast. And so it's broken up. I use everything at the interpretation level is done in what's known as fuzzy set theory or set theory logic. And so everything is chunked up into more or less related groups. And so, for instance, we view the world as being broken up into the actual physical part, the Terra entity, we call it, for the planet. We have the population split up. First, it's in a large set called global pop, and then it splits up into the various large regions. And so we have USA pop, Brazil population, and so on. And we, I go ahead and provide a breakdown of what we have as trends within the data sets for these various little sets. As we go further and further down, you can obviously break set theory down into minutia, but we don't go that far. We just take it down to what we think are practical lumps. and provide some trends as to what's likely to happen to the USA pop or to the global population as a whole. And it's all based on a proprietary thing I call the emotive reduction engine, which assigns quantitative and qualitative values to human emotions. Bearing in mind they're a guess, and I sort of invented this stuff in '93, as I said, and have been perfecting it all along. But we're still a long way from having this be anything close to astoundingly accurate. But here's our situation: we're better than chance by at least twice. And when we're accurate, sometimes we are quite spectacularly so, because what we have a tendency to get is descriptions of the language that will be used about an event ahead of that event occurring. So we don't really get a discussion within the data of or description of a catastrophe. It's more like we get the description of the news lines and the headlines and the discussion after the catastrophe as everybody relates to it and releases all that emotion. Sort of makes sense?
Sure it does. And so, Cliff, please tell us what your emotive reduction engine is saying about Terra, right
well,
at this moment.
We're in
what should we be concerned with?
An expansion period within the planet. I've seen this since 1997. It got me thinking about the planet Earth in an entirely different way, seeing the results in the data. We're not going through climate change or any of that kind of thing. There's an underlying process that's ongoing that's a very long process, probably a 100,000-year cycle. And we're in the midst of one of these cycle turning points, if you will. So we're going to go through an expansion of the planet. Planet Earth is actually getting larger underneath our feet, as are all the planets in the solar system. And this is occurring because of the extra energy coming from the sun smashing down through us all and getting trapped in the inner cores of the planet, where it has to do something, so it converts to matter and causes the planet to grow from the inside. A lot of proof of this coming out now. In any event, so we're going to go through really rather spectacular or dramatic changes within the planet. We haven't really even seen the beginning of this, and over the next couple of 100 years, I'm sure we'll see how it's going to mature. But say for the next 30 years, we're in a period of abrupt change, where we'll see a reaction, and then a sort of a calm period, and then a reaction. So we might see a period where we have dozens of volcanoes go off, and then for a few years volcanoes settle down, and something else occurs, splitting in the bottom of the ocean, that kind of thing. But we're going to get new lands rising in the ocean. Ocean levels are going to change as a result, but not horrifically so. It's not like the oceans are going to wash over the lands. However, there are going to be sea changes that are going to be difficult to deal with as new lands come on up and displace water. And this is just a part of a natural process that's ongoing throughout the entire process of the Earth's life.
As you say that, I'm thinking about a question that we have from one of our instructors on the East Coast. He lives in New Jersey, and he's concerned about is there parallel information indicating the lowlands of the East and the West Coast of the U.S. being submerged, as shown in the U.S. Navy map or Edgar Casey's map?
There's information about them being overcome by water, but I don't use the word submerged because that implies a permanency. You have to understand that you're dealing with somebody who spent a lot of time tuning language. So in my model sense, I'm very particular about how language is defined. So yes, we see that there's going to be a lot of damage to low-lying areas, especially from superstorm surges that are going to hit us over these next 5 years. We have some significant problems with slough-off, if you will, on the West Coast. Where big chunks of land are going to go sliding into the water, but it's not like a whole state is going to go. So no, we won't end up with an Edgar Casey kind of a map in our lifetimes insofar as what my data shows. However, we're going to have a lot of years where it will be very hazardous to live in a lot of areas that are low-lying, correct?
Okay, so is part of what you're talking about the snow melts? Is that what you're saying? These, for example, the snowstorm that the East Coast is starting to experience?
No, that's more of a temporary condition. That's going to affect us this year. But over time, the storms that we're going to be dealing with will be changing their patterns. So right at the moment, for instance, we might just in this year be seeing the first turn from a southern storm track to a northern storm track. So on the East Coast of the U.S., whereas typically we might be more concerned about hurricanes in the southern regions. We're going to change our concern to basically hurricanes in the northern regions or giant nor'easters as the climatic changes actually settle in. The snowmelt kind of stuff, that's weather. That's something that's going to affect us this year. It's going to be nasty. There's going to be all kinds of flooding, both inland and from the coast, from the storms we're going to get hit here with through end of January and through February. But over time, it's probably going to be much worse 4 years from now.
When you talk about the global pop, is there anything else that we should put in the fore of our minds to prepare for what's coming?
There's all kinds of stuff, yeah. In terms of the Terra entity, one of the things we've seen over the last few years has been the alteration of the sun and its output no longer being yellow, but is in fact white, which gets us up to the point where we're seeing more and more of what are known as actinic or burning rays. So our relationship with the sun is going to change over these next couple of 100 years as we go forward into basically what's going to be an ice age. And then we'll come out of that, we should be reasonably fine. Over the next 60 years or so, we'll be getting into a progression where the intensity of everything is going to continue to ramp up as we've seen it in the past few years. But in the past, say, 15 years of change, the changes we've seen have been spasmodic. Over the next 15 or 20, they'll be much more regular, much more continuous, and so much more grinding in a sense.
And for what about USA Pop? That's
we've got some
people who
significant
live in the
changes
States.
there. I mean, we're a large group. We're diverse. We've got everything in the data sets from large immigration waves leaving USA or North America regions to hyperinflation to nuclear disasters. All of these kind of things showing up. In a pretty good clip, as I say, over these next, let's say, 10 to 15 years. Real steady over the next 4.
You know, as you mentioned hyperinflation, I'm thinking about the cost of parts. I was on the phone with several of our instructors over the last few days, and I'm a farmer, and many of us have enterprises or we're entrepreneurs. And we're seeing the cost of parts going up, and we're seeing the wear of our machinery increasing at an increasing rate. And we also think that our lives are being burned faster than ever before. Can you address that when we come back?
Sure, yeah, no problem, yeah.
Okay. Cliff High's with us. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Hello, I'm Michael Regan. My father, President Ronald Reagan, believed so strongly in gold that he changed gold ownership forever by bringing back physical gold to the American public, allowing gold coins to be minted and sold to U.S. citizens just like you, starting in 1985. Gold ownership can help protect your financial future, especially when our national debt is spiraling out of control. Many smart Americans have kept their retirements from being wiped out during America's financial crisis thanks to physical gold coins. I strongly urge you to call the U.S. Money Reserve at 1-866-944-GOLD or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. Ask for a special gold guide with new, never-before-released information about gold from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-866-944-GOLD or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. I'm Michael Regan. Thank you.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Your dial is set correctly to usaprepares.com. We're broadcasting 2 hours, and if you'd like to call us, we're doing a special broadcast on solar power design, batteries, and what you need to know with Iron Edison. And if you'd like to call us with your questions, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. And class, we just experienced a massive outage at the network. And this is not the first time it's happened. It won't be the last time it's happened. And it's not just isolated to us. I've talked to many broadcasters and network owners, and they're experiencing the same exact problems that we have just experienced. So if you're thinking about alternative energy, here's just one more reason why you should consider it pretty soon. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this broadcast. I'm delighted to be broadcasting today with Brandon Williams and Rhodes Carter and the rest of the Iron Edison team. For the next hour and 35 minutes, we'll be broadcasting about alternative energy and what you need to know, and different ways that we can provide our own electrical energy, save money at our homes and our businesses. Welcome, Brandon Williams.
Thank you, Vincent. Pleasure to be back, and fantastic introduction.
And Rhodes Carter's with us. Welcome, Rhodes.
Good morning. How you doing today?
We're doing really well. Why don't we jump right into, you want to start with the different ways that we can provide our own electrical energy and save money at our homes and businesses?
Absolutely. So we're excited today to talk about all the different types of systems that are out there that are designed to save a business money or to save a homeowner money on their monthly electric bills. So there's a lot of really technical ways that we can utilize the inverter, battery, and solar technology. And so we're going to go ahead and jump in and look at a couple of different ways. We're looking at peak load shaving. We're looking at tiered rate structures. We're also looking at ways that we can develop or rent out space on a commercial building, and some other lesser known options like solar gardens or offsite ownership of a solar array.
Brandon, I was traveling yesterday in the truck with our son. I was doing some farming errands. And I noticed that a bank that I had passed many times, a relatively new structure, like we'll call it a village bank, that serves with several branches, but not one of the big label bank brands. They had newly installed solar panels on their roof, and a lot of them. And it seems to me, and I don't know for a fact, but it seems to me what they are doing is ensuring that their computers are going to stay up and running at that local branch so that they don't say things like, well, we'd love to handle that transaction for you, but we can't. Because, you can see the lights are off and, we're dead in the water. I think that's what they're doing. I think that they are taking control of their business as best they can and ensuring that the one ingredient that they absolutely positively need to continue operations is electricity. And I think that's what that's all about. And I'm seeing more and more of examples like this as I travel. So this is a great broadcast about that. So let's start with, where would you like to start? You want to talk about your new facility?
Absolutely. So this is a very proud moment for the development of Iron Edison Battery Company. We have opened up a brand new production facility to assemble cutting-edge batteries using lithium iron phosphate battery technology. It's a great step forward in our company. It's the natural progression. We've been working with batteries since day one. And this is the cutting edge technology that everybody's talking about, everybody's asking for. And we are finding that there is incredible demand for the lithium batteries for solar and off-grid applications. So a couple months ago, we made the step to open up a new facility here in Lakewood, Colorado. We're now employing more assembly workers and technicians than we ever have before. And we're working hand in hand with the sales and design team to make sure the batteries that we're building are exactly what the sales team is designing around.
Okay, there you go. So what happens then is when your customers start learning about the technology, you're going to educate them and also make sure that they get a complete system that will work with all the components working together in harmony, synergistically, yes?
Exactly right.
Okay, so when we come back, shall we talk about the difference between lithium and lead acid?
That sounds like a plan.
Anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using the computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you're having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682. 1682.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, libertyoncall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to libertyoncall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's libertyoncall.org.
You're fired. According to the Small Business Administration, 75% of small businesses plan to eliminate jobs or reduce workers' hours to part-time. You're fired. According to Gallup, the unemployment rate recently jumped to nearly 9%, and the underemployment rate hit a staggering 17.9%. You're fired. 1 out of 3 young adults and 1 out of 2 recent college graduates are underemployed. Hello, I'm Keith Abel, a pharmacist and a home business entrepreneur. In 2011, I became one of those statistics myself. Instead of looking for another job in corporate America, I joined Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy. We're creating steady incomes for ourselves and would like to show you how to do the same. If you want to supplement your current income, replace your income, so you don't have to become one of the statistics, then give me a call toll-free at 866-257-3105, 866-257-3105. You're fired. Don't wait till you hear those words. Start creating an extra income today. 866-257-3105.
Class, we're talking about alternative energy today. Brandon Williams and Rhodes Carter are with us at the moment, and the rest of the team will be joining us. Let's talk about the difference between the lithium and the lead acid batteries.
Super. So the lithium batteries is a new class of batteries that are extremely powerful. When compared to lead acid or any other battery type, the lithium class of batteries has an extremely high energy density, meaning there's more power in a smaller, lighter package. The lithium batteries are also maintenance-free. So for a homeowner with not a lot of time on their hands or who's not extremely familiar with complex battery maintenance, the lithium battery is a very good fit for that application because it is a hands-off type of battery that's not going to take up a lot of space in a garage or right outside the house.
Okay, and I remember back in the 1960s, weekly check of the automobiles in our family, and one of the things that we did was check the battery fluid level, and so we had to top them off with distilled water, periodically, and that was just something that you did. And if you didn't do that, the batteries would tend to fail way faster than they should have, just from neglect. So I can understand why this is an important consideration. And the density, and that's another thing, because as we look at how much space the batteries take, you're talking about more energy per square or per cubic inch, right?
That's exactly right. And the lithium class of batteries has almost triple the amount of energy in the same space when compared to lead acid batteries.
So does that mean that literally you can have your battery bank be 1/3 the size physically? Is that what you're saying?
It's about that. That's right. Once we put it in a case or put it on a rack, it ends up being about half the size of a lead acid battery. So as far as footprint, we have half the size, same energy. In addition, the lithium battery is able to deliver more energy faster than a lead acid battery. So we can actually use a smaller battery if there's just peaks or blips of energy that we need to cover from discharging the lithium battery. So in addition to a small package, it packs a lot of punch with a very high discharge rate capability.
So for someone who might be concerned, would we be accurate in the analogy that, the personal computer used to be huge, used to have this tower, on the floor, and it might be 300 megahertz, and now we have a much smaller package, which might be 2 to 3 gigahertz. Is that what we're saying? Is that the kind of analogy that we're talking about? So we don't have to be afraid that it's smaller?
That's a good analogy. We've made tremendous progress. I would say that the battery technology, we're looking at a period overall of about 100 years looking at alkaline batteries, lead acid batteries, and in the last 20 years, lithium batteries. It's only been in the last 2 or 3 years that the price of lithium batteries and the production quality has come to a point where this is a good fit for everyday use, not just for experimental applications.
Mm-hmm. And you at Iron Edison, your team, you actually assemble these batteries at your location, at your production facility. Why is it that you assemble them?
Well, the lithium batteries require an onboard computer system to monitor each of the individual cells that make up the battery bank. It's giving us another level of control and providing for incredible safety right on board the battery. So by giving intelligence at the battery level, we're able to make sure that the battery is performing exactly as we designed. And we're actually able to use the battery management system, the onboard computer, to send signals upstream to our solar charge controllers, to our inverter, and to the grid to either ask for more charge, or when the battery is approaching full charge, we're able to send a signal to stop charging. So it's everything's becoming integrated into one extremely intelligent system.
Okay, and what about ventilation for the new technology batteries that we're discussing?
These batteries are sealed and maintenance free. So unlike the refilling of your car battery example that you gave, there's no vent, there's no off gassing, there's no watering of this battery. It's in a hard steel enclosure that's designed to really it would never need to be opened after the day that the battery was installed.
That's a tremendous advantage because up until this point we were thinking about the gases, the off-gassing, and how they needed to be vented outside and have a positive pressure inside a box that would vent the battery. So this is a dramatic step forward as far as I can tell.
I completely agree, and it is this technology now has critical momentum. We've seen it being used successfully for years in electric vehicles, where it's originally designed for that application. So by applying this technology that typically has very high demand in an electric vehicle, now we're giving it a much easier life by putting it in a stationary application with slower charge rates, slower discharge rates. These batteries are performing exceedingly well in the stationary application.
Now, would you expect a longer life expectancy being a stationary battery rather than one in motion?
Absolutely. Because of the lower discharge rates and we can keep them in a climate-controlled area, we would expect a longer life than electric vehicle. And when compared to lead-acid batteries in a stationary application, lead-acid may make it 3 to 5 years, 6 or 7 if you really know what you're doing and barely use the battery. With the lithium batteries that we're working with, we're expecting at least 14 years of cycle life when using the battery every day.
Kyle in Montana, welcome to the broadcast. Kyle Harris. Kyle Harris is a USA Preparedness instructor. He's calling in, and he lives off-grid. Kyle, welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen. I had a couple of questions. My phone was cutting out, and I couldn't catch all of some of the things you were saying, so I'll ask the questions, and if I'm redundant, I apologize in advance. Are these batteries configured in 12, 24, or I mean, do they come as possibly a 24-volt battery? Are they 6 volt? Are they 1.2? And when you live off the grid, of course, you live and die by the amp. And so is the amp hour capacity of these batteries the same as like the lead acid?
Hi, Kyle. Thanks for your questions. These are perfect questions here. So the batteries that we're building do come in standard 12 volt, 24 volt, and 48 volt configurations. The batteries that we're delivering are a single enclosure, about the size of a foot locker, or two stacked on top of one another. And so we are working hard to retrofit cutting edge batteries into existing off-grid systems. So people who own Magnum inverters, Outback inverters, Trace inverters, Xantrex, or any of the other brands can safely use our battery, our new battery, with these classic systems that are out there in the field. As far as the second part of your question, amp hour capacity, we are building batteries up to 1,000 amp hours in our standard configuration, meaning with a 48 volt, 1,000 amp hour battery, we're able to deliver 48 kilowatt hours from a single battery bank. We have options at 200 amp hours, 400 amp hours, 700 amp hours, and 1,000 amp hours, with larger commercial and telecom options available.
Okay, so my system that I am running lead acid right now, and I have approximately 1,100 amp hours in this configuration. It's a 24 volt system. So would you say yours comes in a steel enclosure? Excuse me, is the entire battery system one unit, or is it in smaller units that you could move around?
We found that there's an advantage to delivering the entire battery in one unit. So this is different than lead acid, where you would have several individual batteries where you could carry them downstairs. With the lithium battery systems that we're assembling, it's not a practical design to have separate units. So we've made the steel container forklift friendly. There are handles, so it can be moved around. But ideally, this is placed in a garage or a first floor level. This is due to the fact that we have the battery management system on board, and it is challenged in the field to be able to properly assemble all of these very, very sensitive components, rather than with a lead acid battery, where you would simply put the battery down, make the interconnects, and land your inverter cables. So we're putting probably 40 or 50 hours into each battery assembly, and it would give an off-grid system owner the advantage of just being able to, the battery arrive, so you open the top and land your battery cables right on our battery. So there's no complex assembly on site.
Okay, so just for curiosity's sake, a 24 volt system that is 1,000 amp hours, do you have the approximate weight of what that would weigh?
I believe that's around 1,200 to 1,400 pounds. We'd be happy to get back to you and give you some exact weights. I can tell you that the battery, even with the steel enclosure, is going to be in total about half of the weight of a similar lead acid battery. Just got that information right here. We're looking at 820 pounds for a 1,000 amp hour battery. That's remarkable.
Yes, it is, because the batteries that I have now are approximately 100 pounds apiece, and there's 12 of them. So, but my system is all downstairs. But I'll listen off air, Vince. Thanks. This is a great program.
Thanks, Kyle.
Kyle, thank you so much for being with us. Class, we're talking about alternative energy. We're talking about batteries with Iron Edison Battery Company. If you'd like to go to their website, ironedison.com, ironedison.com. They're a battery company, but they're full service full service alternative energy. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
If you want to raise the next generation of Patriot leaders, take a look at Freedom Project Academy, a Judeo-Christian online school for kindergarten through high school. No Common Core teaching methods or high-stakes testing. Freedom Project Academy is government-free, doesn't accept any government funding, and is a fully accredited private school. All classes are taught live online with real teachers across the country. Open enrollment runs March through July, but classes fill up quickly. Check them out at fpeusa.org. That's fpeusa.org.
A good stove is at the top of the list for any serious survivalist. That's why you have to see the full range at emberlit.com. Simple, elegant, but extraordinarily efficient. Available in titanium or stainless steel, the Emberlit line of stoves are ultralight, pack flat, and work great. Fueled only by sticks and debris. From emergency situations to long-term survival, Emberlit stoves are up to the task. Emberlit, the most convenient, easy-to-carry wood stoves on the planet. See them all at emberlit.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Hello, I'm Michael Regan. My father, President Ronald Reagan, believed so strongly in gold that in 1985, he changed gold ownership forever. Today, our national debt is spiraling out of control, but gold coins could be the answer. Call 1-866-525-GOLD or go online to usmoneyreserve.com to get new, never-before-released information about gold. From the U.S. Money Reserve, call 1-866-525-GOLD.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
You know, class, I've received a number of phone calls about the broadcast that we've done with the Iron Edison team. And there are a lot of us who are interested in this technology and becoming energy independent. And that's what this broadcast is about. And my next question is, you know, we've talked about lithium ion, and now we're using the word lithium iron. And the spelling has a difference with the letter R. Lithium ion versus lithium iron, I-R-O-N. Why do we call it lithium iron?
The lithium iron battery is a derivative or a specific type of lithium battery. I would say lithium ion is a class of battery under which there are 10 or 12 unique different chemistries that all fall into that category. Each has their own specific use. Some have higher energy density, some have longer cycle life. The lithium iron battery is also known as lithium iron phosphate, and that type of lithium battery is the safest type of lithium battery on the market. That lithium iron or lithium iron phosphate chemistry is not prone to catching fire. It's not prone to the thermal runaway. It's different than all the other batteries that you may have seen in the news articles recently, where consumer electronics may have been catching fire, or even laptop batteries. So although they're in the same class, the lithium iron batteries are a much more stable version of the lithium chemistry.
Are there any downsides to the lithium iron phosphate batteries that we're discussing today?
They're slightly less powerful than some of those exotic lithium chemistries, but I would much rather, we're talking about having regular rocket fuel with the lithium iron versus nitro rocket fuel for some of the other exotic chemistries. So already we're leaps and bounds more powerful than any other battery that's come before it. So we're already in this new class. Let's look and use the safest possible type of battery in this class, and that's the lithium iron phosphate chemistry.
Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, class, we've had uninterruptible power systems here in the studio where we've used lead acid batteries, and we've had 2 separate explosions. And literally, the batteries blew up, and you don't want that to happen. So if you can avoid that, that would certainly be a great thing to do. And what literally happened was these were lead acid batteries, marine batteries in a battery box, and they were charging, and there was some hydrogen gas inside. And these are containers designed that are commercially available for boats. And I was not in the studio at the time, but this, and I'm not talking about an alternative energy. I'm talking about just an uninterruptible power system. Something that you'd have for your computer. Literally, the batteries exploded, and we had a mess to clean up, and it's a good thing that no one was in the room. So I can't emphasize enough how important safety really is. So if you think that it's not going to happen to you, and just look up battery explosions, and you'll see it on the internet. It's for real. So this is something that I consider very, very important, the safety issue. So who are the competitors in this industry?
The main competitor that everybody knows by first name is Elon Musk's company, Tesla. And Tesla is producing a product called the Powerwall, which is a residential battery backup system that's designed, it has a little bit different focus than our batteries. The Tesla Powerwall it's a beautiful looking product, but it's designed for some very short-term backup. That battery may have 6 to 7 kilowatt hours or 6 to 7,000 watts stored in it. That would run an average household for just a couple of hours. Our battery packs take that to the next level, where we're delivering up to 50 kilowatt hours out of a single pack.
Brandon Williams, Rhodes Carter. When we come back, let's share the ways that these systems can save money in more detail. Peak load shaving and net metering for commercial and homeowners, and you talked about renting space on a warehouse roof, other ways to save, and then we'll get into the residential use, time of use, and how you can use the system to your advantage and save money with one of these systems, as well as become energy independent. Brandon Williams, Rhodes Carter, IronEdison.com. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Hour number 2 of USA Prepares. Special broadcast about alternative energy and saving money. And we've been talking about the lithium iron phosphate batteries in hour number 1. And this hour, let's talk about how we can save money. You know, as I look at some of the things that we've done here at the farm, the way we save money is prepare for the long run. Okay, it's hard to save money in the short run, but in the long run, if you put out an investment, you can save money in the long run. And let me just give you a quick example. We have an outdoor wood furnace, and we pick up wood around that falls off, limbs fall off trees fall down, and we just cut them up, put them in the wood furnace, and we heat our house almost for free. But there was an initial investment, and that's the kind of thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how you can save money. And we have the team from IronEdison.com, IRON Edison.com. It's a battery company, but it's full service, and they can provide everything that you need: instruction, engineering, details, and all the products that you need. Same company that I have purchased our equipment from, the same exact company. And Brandon Williams is with us. And Brandon, let's talk about the ways we can save money. And one of the things is, businesses and commercial and peak load shaving. Let's talk about that. And who is the team that you've got with us for this hour?
For this hour, we are being joined by one of our most senior system designers, Timna Zemmel, and we still have Rhodes Carter here on the line.
Great.
And Timna's going to get us kicked off here by explaining a little bit more about commercial peak load shaving and then how that idea is trickling down into residential bills.
Hi, Vincent. How's it going?
It's going very well. Thanks for being with us. And by the way, we have a post on page 1 of USA Prepares. talking about this and a link to your website, ironedison.com. So tell us about peak load shaving. That's SHAVING.
That's right. And so in the commercial world, there's charging for your electricity in a couple different ways. One of them is an instantaneous way, and the other is more long-term. So when a typical, residential scale person gets their electricity bill, they're charged based off of how much energy they've used over the course of the month, right? So that's kilowatt hours. But in a commercial setting, they're also charged for instantaneous demand. That's how much power was needed at that facility at a very specific moment in time. Let's think about a factory, for instance, where they have very high grade equipment. That power needs to be delivered to their facility in a very short amount of time, and that's a very big amount of power in that short amount of time. So in a commercial application, they're charged in those two ways, not just your energy usage over the course of the month, but they also look at what your peak demand was. So peak load shaving basically says, well, okay, if you're going to be charged according to that highest demand value that you reached over the course of that month, what happens if we tune that down just a little bit? Let's say we'll have a battery take care of those peaks. And so according to the utility, you've actually reached a lower peak level than what you were at before, and you'll get charged less because you're charged according to your peak.
Let me see if I've got this right.
Okay. Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, but so the startup current demand for, let's say, an electric motor, a well pump. I'm trying to share with the class what this might mean at the home level or the farm level. A startup demand for a motor like that would drive a compressor, an air compressor. Mm-hmm. It's about 3 times the energy of the run load. So the startup load is 3 times what the normal running load is. And the same is true for a well pump. So if we're talking about these kinds of things, that would be elevators. If you have an elevator in your business, if you have electric motors, drill presses, and things like that, even refrigeration equipment, when it starts up, there's a high demand. Is that the kind of some of the devices that we're discussing now for driving that extra electric bill cost?
Absolutely, and you're touching on something that is what I want to talk about as well. That this method of charging for not just energy but also instantaneous power is moving not just from being a commercial application but also moving into the residential world as well. So those people who even in their home, let's say, are doing exactly what you're describing, are plugging in some kind of device that has that high peak or that surge, that could, in a short amount of time, you could be seeing that on your bill as well.
So when you go to the dentist and you have a filling placed, the bill may say, well, it's not just a filling. It's very complicated. It's actually 3 sides. So we bill you for each side of the filling. It's like different ways of finding different methods of charging us more for the same thing. And I got a bill for selling my cows, and I'm looking at all these fees that have been added on. And what I did was I called the cattle selling company. I said, is there any other fee that you could have added to this besides all the ones you did add that you haven't thought about yet? I was so annoyed. And that's what you're talking about. You're talking about using the rules that they have put in place for us to our advantage to minimize the impact. And that's what you're talking about doing.
Right, exactly. I'm saying that very soon, and I think that they've already begun doing this in California. There are going to be other ways that the utility finds to charge you for the same thing. You're absolutely right. So if we have a battery there to take care of those peak demand charges and shave the tops of those peaks just a little bit, we could actually save ourselves a good amount of money every month.
And something very simple, like let's say you have a business and you have a sign, and the sign is lit. You power that sign up, and there's a high demand to power up that sign initially, and then the sign is up and running, and then demand for electricity goes down. But if you have a defective sign and it's flickering, you've got this pulsating increased demand, and it drives up a commercial electric bill. So there are lots of things that could happen in our homes, like flickering lights that are of high demand. We just look, I wish that light would work, and it's causing more electricity to be used instantaneously. And boy, this is fascinating. And many of us probably haven't even thought about this, but yeah, I can see this coming our way. So the batteries simply shave off the peak. If you're looking at a graph, right? You're looking at the peak instantaneous load, and we just chop that off. So now we don't experience that extra charge for that peak demand, right?
Right. The visual is absolutely correct. If you're looking at a graph and you plot your instantaneous demand, it's going to be kind of all over the place, and it'll fluctuate exactly with the examples that you've been giving. Let's say you turn on your well pump. Big peak there. And if you can imagine just a straight line going across those valleys and peaks, that's where the battery is coming in. So you can actually program your inverter to say, all right, we're not gonna let our KW, our instantaneous demand, go above this certain specific level. We'll have the battery come in and supplement whenever that happens. And so basically there's that line going across all of those peaks and valleys and making sure that your demand never goes above a certain pre-programmed set point.
Are we aware of the timetable that we're going to see this on our electric bill, since we've had all these new smart meters installed in our homes and businesses? Do you know when this may be deployed at the home level?
Like I was saying, we're already seeing it in California on the residential level. I think that it is only a matter of time in terms of the reason why the utility needs to charge for these things is because it's reflected in their infrastructure, right? That's something that they need to take care of. And I think that because maybe it's becoming more difficult to deliver that instantaneous demand, that's why they need to start charging more and more for it.
Okay. So you have a specific design that will take care of this problem of the peak load shaving. How does that design differ from the traditional design that we might be looking at? So is there additional equipment, or is there less equipment, or is there the same equipment and it's just a programming issue?
So you can do peak load shaving with just a battery and a battery-based inverter. You don't necessarily have to have your battery charging from the solar array. In our more traditional setup, right, we have the solar charging the battery gets used throughout the evening and night, and then throughout the day it gets charged back up again using the solar. With peak load shaving, you don't necessarily have to opt to have your battery be charged using the solar, although a lot of the time it's nice, right, because the sun is free. But if let's say you're getting charged or your utility is charging you more during certain hours of the day and less during other hours of the day, you can choose to have your battery get charged up when electricity is cheap, and then you can have your battery come in and do the peak load shaving when those demand charges are going to be taking place. So if there is a time element in there, we can do it that way as well. And then the programming in the inverter is crucial, but it's the same equipment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tim, then when we come back, may we discuss net metering?
Sure, yeah. And I think Brandon will be talking about that too. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to talk about on peak load shaving?
I think we pretty much covered it. It's a great way to, take the bull by the horns. And
my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract. Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
So we've been talking about peak load shaving, and I've been thinking about examples, and one that I can think of is, if you have a camera and you want to take a flash picture, you've got that camera on, and the energy system has been charged, the capacitor has been charged, ready to go. You hit the shutter button, and that flash discharges. And so you've been saving that extra energy for that needed peak, that instantaneous peak when you want to use the flash. And that seems to be an example. But what's happening is we're now talking about the energy companies, the power companies. charging us extra for those instantaneous peaks. And that's what we've been talking about, shaving them off so that we don't have to pay those extra instantaneous demand charges that are coming our way. Brandon, net metering for electricity. Can you tell us what that is and what's coming our way with that?
Net metering is the concept of a standard grid tie solar system where energy produced is netted out against energy consumed. So that's your standard residential or commercial solar tied directly to the grid. A lot of people are familiar with that. That's one of the more basic systems out there. The way that we can use this to our advantage to achieve some financial advantage in both residential and commercial applications is especially in areas that have what's called a tiered rate structure, where there are different tranches or tiers of billing for the end user based on how much that business or residence uses. These tiered rates are designed to reward people or businesses that use very little energy, typically divided into 4 tiers, whereas the low users get awarded. The users who are drawing the most electricity over the month are going to get penalized by paying a rate that's almost double what those low consumers are paying. So the financial play here, Vincent, is that we can use a solar array for a large consumer, whether home or business. That solar array can sell enough energy back to the grid so that residence or business is now on a lower tier of the kilowatt hour price. So whereas a business may be paying 30 cents per kilowatt hour for using a lot of electricity, with a solar array, we can decrease total consumption and bring them down to a lower tier where they may only be paying 18 cents per kilowatt hour. So the cumulative effect is greater than just selling 1 kilowatt hour back at a time, where we're able to really knock down those most expensive kilowatt hours purchased.
So again, we're using the rules that have been applied to our best advantage. I was talking with Laura in California about exactly this, and she has been bumped up to higher and higher tiers for the electricity she's been using. Now this is the exact opposite of what we've been led to believe. We've been led to believe that if you use just a little bit of electricity, you're paying a higher rate, and these large commercial users are paying lower rates for their factories and so forth. But we're talking about the exact opposite. The more you use, the more you pay per unit.
That's exactly right. And these new rate structures, we're talking about this today because the people may not be aware of these rate structures that are out there. But peak load shaving and demand charges, as well as these tiered rate structures, are being implemented right now across the country. In Tennessee, we have customers on tiered rate structures. We're seeing this in New York and across New England. And California is really the test bed for what they're calling these more progressive rate structures with demand charges and tiered rate structures, with the overall goal that is twofold. One is to, in general, decrease the load on the electrical grid by punishing people who are using too much electricity. And the second is to increase efficiency, drive efficiency by showing people that they're paying a lot and driving them to use more efficient lighting, heating, cooling to lower their overall bill.
Mm-hmm. And I talked with someone who was highly placed at an electric cooperative in Missouri, and I was talking about saving electricity. And he told me in no uncertain terms that they are not in the energy-saving business. We are in the energy-saving business. We, as the consumers of electricity, are in the energy-saving business, but they are not. So we need to do what we can to drive our costs down. We'll be right back, and we'll talk
Gotta
about...
take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
You've woke up to the deception. You understand how big government and corporations are controlling you. Guess what? The trail goes even deeper. When you want to learn the full truth, visit toolsforfreedom.com. We take you further into uncovering the conspiracy than you've ever been before. Click toolsforfreedom.com. Use coupon code RADIO to get a free DVD today. Or call 800-770-8802. That's 800-770-8802. Toolsforfreedom.com.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Class, we're talking with Brandon Williams, ironedison.com. And Brandon, I mentioned in the beginning, hour number one, that I saw some solar panels on a roof of a bank, nearby our farm. And, we don't use roofs for much. We use them to shed the water and keep the snow out and the sun and so forth. But they could be used for other things, right?
That's exactly right. Rooftops, especially at businesses, are another revenue stream. Whether a warehouse or business owner would like to install an array and own it and gather that energy themselves, that would be a traditional process. However, there's a growing movement of companies that own multiple warehouses, and they're able to actually lease out the roof space, much as a landlord would be leasing the warehouse space inside the building. The building owner is now leasing the square footage on the roof of their building so that a third party can come in, install a solar array, and actually sell that solar power to another entity through a power purchase agreement. So these warehouse owning landlords aren't interested in collecting the energy from the array. Typically, that's due to some complex electrical equipment inside of the building or agreements with tenants. They're simply using the roof, the square footage on the roof, as another revenue stream, and that
sounds very much like what happens with water towers and churches that are using their roofs for hidden antennas, but water towers are renting space for cell phone use and municipal antenna use as well. So, yeah, what a great thought. So, Brandon, before someone enters into one of those agreements to rent out their space or to rent space on a roof, do you advise that they call you to get the heads up on what they're getting into and maybe some of the costs or prices they should be engaged in?
For any of these systems that we've discussed today, we have designed several large-scale systems for peak load shaving and for commercial rooftop solar. We're also partnered with another company based out of Colorado here that is specifically built around financing commercial solar installations. So we have a lot of in-house expertise on the battery side, and when it comes to utility scale solar development, we know the people who are doing those sorts of projects every day.
Are there other ways to save money?
Absolutely, and I'd like Tim and
the nail on the head right before we went to break the last time when you were talking about energy efficiency, and that we the consumer really are in the business of energy efficiency. And the more you just go through your home, toss out that old 20-year-old fridge that's hogging all the energy, replace it with a Energy Star rated super efficient refrigerator, or just go through and change out all your lights to LEDs. The less you use, the smaller the system you can buy, and the more money you can save. Not only if you go solar, but also if you don't, you'll just get charged less from the utility as well. So that was a great point that you brought up.
Well, and I was doing some research about even saving money with an older refrigerator, and there's a YouTube video where this person just got some foam insulation boards and wrapped his refrigerator in foam insulation, and he drove down his electric cost on his refrigeration by about 20%. Now, that doesn't work if your condenser is the skin of your refrigerator. That would make it much worse if you did this. But if you have those coils on the back of your refrigerator or the coils on the bottom, you might find that $20 worth of insulation might save you 20% on your refrigerator or freezer costs. But make sure that you've got coils that are not part of the skin of the refrigerator. Great point. What about federal tax credits?
That's another great point. The federal tax credit right now for any renewable energy system is 30%. So that's a huge portion of the cost of the system. And yeah, it's extended now. So it was going to expire at the end of 2016, but we have 5 more years now. There are, however, more local incentives on the state level that are indeed expiring soon. So New Mexico, for instance, 10% tax credit, that's significant as well. That's set to expire at the end of this year.
Now, are we talking about 10% plus 30%?
That's right. So that's 40%. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
all right.
significant.
So it's not one or the other; it's both. Okay. Mm-hmm. And also there's the depreciation of the asset, right?
That's correct, Vincent. So in terms of a business system, typically the depreciation of those assets happens over several years. There's currently in place regulations that allow for bonus depreciation or would allow the business owner to fully depreciate the asset in year 1. So in addition to the tax credit, federal tax credit, there's local, state, municipal tax credits, and then on top of that, there's the financial bonus of being able to depreciate that entire solar array in year 1.
Mm-hmm. And what about moving on into the residential time of use area? About selling back. Let's talk about that. And so the timing of selling back.
This is another interesting new concept with these more advanced rate structures. And fortunately, we now have the inverter technology to keep up with these rate structures. Time of use is a structure in which a residential or business user is going to be charged more for buying during peak hours. And on the flip side of that system owner would be able to sell back to the grid typically after the sun goes down between 5 and 8 p.m. Selling energy back into the grid would be rewarded at a much higher rate than, for example, at noon when all the other solar arrays are up and running. So what we can do is design a system that shuts off the purchase of electricity during the high cost times of in the morning, for example. So the battery delivers the energy from 8 to 10 a.m. The solar charges the battery for the rest of the day. And then after the sun is set, when the buyback rates are better from the utility, the system owner can then turn the sell to grid feature on at the moment that those higher kilowatt hour buyback prices start. So we can use that battery in almost an arbitrage scenario, buying at a lower rate, storing it, selling it back at a higher rate. And it's only if we can keep the battery costs low over the course of the system that idea of arbitrage is going to work out. And until now, lead acid batteries have been the only option. Nickel iron's out there as well. But with the O&M cost and keeping somebody on board to manage that battery, those finances haven't worked out. Using the lithium and the lithium iron batteries, we're finally at a place now where arbitrage and taking advantage of time of use structures is making financial sense.
So what I'm hearing is the rules keep changing by the sellers of electricity, and what we're doing on our side of the equation, the consumers and those who have solar systems, we're using the programming capabilities of our inverter technology to use those rules that are being used against us to be used in our favor. So we can say, oh yeah, okay, I got it. So we'll just reprogram our device to sell back, and we'll take advantage of the gouging that you guys are forcing us to feel. What a great way to go.
It's kind of fun, isn't it? It's like a cat and mouse game with the utility, and this digital technology, inverter control systems is our key to success.
It really is fun, and when I look at filling out our tax documents, I look at the rules and I interpret them to the best of our advantage, and then I play the game with their rules, and it's really kind of fun because it really is cat and mouse. They keep changing the rules, and we keep adapting. And have you found anyone who said, I really want to investigate this. I'd like to have one of these solar systems for my home, let's say an off-grid system or a grid tie system, whatever it may be, and I want to do a project and share my what I've learned with the world via either YouTube or a website. And by the way, that's going to be my new business. And so I'm going to buy this system. I'm going to use it as my business experience, and I will publish the results of it on the web, and therefore 100% of it is a tax deduction. Has anyone done that kind of scenario that you know of? Because I think it'd be pretty cool to do.
That does sound like a really good project. We have some similar projects where system owners are traveling across the country in an off-grid educational bus or vehicle. So the entire system is used as an educational tool. So in addition to what you just described, there's opportunities for nonprofits and churches and schools to take advantage of other credits that may be out there that are specific for them. What you're describing is absolutely realistic, and with the ability to link a system up to the internet, we can help system owners to publish that data and share that data. Of course, if they want to. We can keep all of that data local and on site and not connect it to the outside internet, rather to create a secure intranet right at the farm, for example. We could use a separate router, not connected to the internet. You'd be able to wirelessly track all of your production and consumption without ever worrying that it's going to be shared with the outside world. And on the other side of that is the system that you're describing, using this as an educational tool, publishing every part of this.
Yeah, and in my opinion, it can be used as a legitimate business expense. And as you travel, you talk about it and share the information of what you've learned. And why would you do this? Well, you're looking for ad revenue on your website. And whether you actually make money or not, that's not required. The intent to make money is required. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
My name is Don Wiskin, and at 42 years old, I suffered a massive heart attack and was told I'd be on disability for the rest of my life. What did I do? I created Extendivite, a garlic and cayenne mix of 7 herbs which rebuilt my heart and gave me back my life. For over 17 years now, I have made this formula available to you so you don't have to suffer the same thing I did. clean your blocked arteries and strengthen your heart and boost your natural immune system. I'm 60 years old now, and I still work every day. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares Unfiltered and Untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares Untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Class, I'd like to give you the contact information for ironedison.com. That's 720-432-6433. 720-432-6433. ironedison.com. ironedison.com. Brandon, I've been to the central office of our local telephone provider here in our hamlet in Missouri, and I knocked on the door. I saw the truck out front, and I walked in. I was invited in, and I toured it very quickly, and I saw the battery backup. And the reason that they have this battery bank is because they want to provide uninterrupted service during a power outage. And the battery bank will sustain the system for long enough for the generators to kick in, and they can provide a longer-term uninterrupted service for standard telephone service and internet service. Now, that's the kind of thing that I'm really interested in. I know that those who are listening to this broadcast are interested in that as well. So, class, if you're interested in uninterruptible power, and if you're interested in a Plan B, and if you're interested in protecting your life, because electricity is so important in today's life, please consider contacting ironedison.com, 720-432-6433. And I understand that we can meet some of your team in Wisconsin. Can you tell us about that?
Actually, this is Jim, part of the Iron Edison team. And I was going to talk to you a little bit about the upcoming events that we have. Pretty excited about it. The Energy Fair that you speak about is going to be held in Custard, Wisconsin. It's going to be June 17th through the 19th. The fair is all about helping the attendees learn all about clean energy and sustainable living. And that's going to be done via workshops and vendor booths. And we're going to be there with a number of our team to talk about the nickel iron and the lithium iron and how it can be used for the attendees' energy needs, either off-grid, grid-tied, residential, and mostly we expect to see that type of attendee there, but also commercial. So,
and will you be presenting a seminar? I went to the website and I looked at the schedule. Will you be presenting a seminar?
That is correct. Between June 17th and June 19th, when we are up in Custer, Wisconsin, we will be presenting both at the booth and at the main stage at the event. It's an outdoor. It's similar to a county fair. All the vendors are under tents, and it's really a reunion of all of the people who have been in the solar business for over 2 decades. So we're excited about that. In addition, we have the Battery Show and Critical Power Expo. This is a very serious and high-level commercial and business-to-business show. Jim, tell us when and where are we going to be at the Battery Show?
So the Battery Show is quite a large conference. It's actually broken up into 3 sections. And as Brandon said, we're going to be in the critical power portion of that. And that's in Novi, Michigan, being held September 13th through the 15th. And we will be focusing on commercial telecom opportunities. And Brandon's going to be speaking at the Buyers Forum. And he's going to be talking about the lithium-ion battery and how it can be used as you mentioned, UPS backup. But we also see our battery being used in telecom applications where it actually is used as a daily load support mechanism as well. So we're going to sit there and in our booth and meet up with people that are interested in the battery and talk about how we can team up with them to power their sites.
I'll tell you what, I haven't checked my schedule, but I would love to travel there and meet all of the team that's present at the event in Wisconsin. Boy, that sounds great. Do you think you might have any show specials for those who attend?
We'll have show specials, and anyone is always welcome to meet us here in Lakewood, Colorado. Give us a call. We're always happy to help.
Class, if you're interested in working with the same team that I work with for our alternative energy needs, that's ironedison.com. Brandon and Rhodes and Tim, how many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com. and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hello, I'm Michael Regan. My father, President Ronald Reagan, believed so strongly in gold that he changed gold ownership forever by bringing back physical gold to the American public, allowing gold coins to be minted and sold to U.S. citizens just like you, starting in 1985. Gold ownership can help protect your financial future, especially when our national debt is spiraling out of control. Many smart Americans have kept their retirements from being wiped out during America's financial crisis thanks to physical gold coins. I strongly urge you to call the U.S. Money Reserve at 1-866-944-GOLD or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. Ask for a special gold guide with new, never-before-released information about gold from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-866-944-GOLD or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. I'm Michael Regan. Thank you.